Hey, so I have a question. I'm just kind of curious on what like kind of the census is for men and women. And I'm curious even like is it different for men and women? When it comes to dating or, like if you're considering dating, is it important for you to find somebody that like you're extremely attractive to right off the bat? Or are you looking for somebody that, I mean, obviously I know like somewhat of an like a attraction. I mean, it has to be like a little bit like of a draw. But is it more important to find somebody that just has a lot of qualities that you're looking for, not necessarily like some like instant like crazy like fiery attraction? Because I feel like that is something that can grow. That's my opinion. If I was looking, I don't generally search for somebody that like I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to, I don't know, rip their clothes up, whatever.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Just in case any of you were wondering, yeah, this gorilla didn't understand half the crap that came out of this Queen's mouth. It's like she's talking with pure insecurity at this point. Let me see if I could track it best I can. She started off with, when it comes to dating, that like you're extremely attractive off the bat, and then she jumped straight into that has a lot of qualities of what you are looking for. Ladies, seriously, this is like the Creole of womanese. I'm going to try to translate as best I can. I believe what she's trying to get at is it important for men and women, but I guess more for men? What are the first things you look for when dating? Do you look for somebody who boils your blood as they're attractive, or do you look for somebody with the important qualities? Well, let me be honest. For both men and women, it's the previous one. Looks matter. I know women would say it doesn't matter so much for them. If that was true, why is it that Chads and Tyros can pull so much, and the average looking guy can't pull as much? But in saying that, women do look for other qualities that are not the usual attractive man 6 foot tall. Those other qualities that they like, they're not going to be the PCBS that women put out of, oh, he's got to be good to me and be a good man. Please. Especially a woman in this age group. She's looking for financial stability, materialism. Does he have a house that I can move into? Does he have a good car I could borrow? Can he afford to buy me a car? Does he have a good 401k? But let's see if we can decipher the rest of this woman's jumbled up questioning.
I feel like that's something, attraction can grow based on the person that they are and who they are on the inside, and not based on just their aesthetic look. But I'm just kind of curious on what other people think, what do they look for? Are you looking for somebody that is just like gorgeous and like the rest doesn't matter? Or all of the above? Are you expecting them to be like the whole package, like excessively good looking, but, have a great humor, can be loyal, committed, emotionally intelligent, blah, 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 whatever. What does that look like? I don't know. What do you guys think? What is your preference? Men, women? I'm just kind of curious on what the sense is out there. Anyway, thoughts? Anybody? Have a good night.
Are we done here?
What, the census is out there? Dang, Queen, you really must be trying to balance the scales here. It's no secret that women in the Western world, especially women in your age group, come up and start saying, well, I'm not gonna settle. They have a laundry list of demands that they don't even meet a quarter of it, and they require him to accept her the way she is. Because somehow, some way, she can put a list of 20 different demands, but in her mind, her saying, you get me, is the equivalent of those 20 demands that she doesn't want to budge on. And at this point, I could dare say that the stubbornness of women of lowering their standards to something more realistic is adjacent to the amount of cats that she owns. Let me just say it. Men don't demand a whole lot. I mean, you could be a mid, and they're good with it. As long as you don't bring headaches and you don't bring a whole lot of baggage. Women, they themselves are mids. They want the high-value man who's going to give them everything he's worked hard for. And somehow, some way, he's got to come in and play stepdad and handle all of her baggage and deal with her baby daddies. And for this queen, I'm going to give my best gorilla attempt to give her a womanese Creole answer. Woman not gonna settle. Men say, bye-bye, pump dump. Preferred, block. Back to thy streets, carousel ride, find yourself. Move it on.
Here's a way to tell if you are insecure or secure. When you get a compliment and someone says, wow, you look so beautiful, how do you feel right after hearing that compliment? When you're insecure, there's often one of two things that can happen. Number one, you live for that compliment. When someone tells you how beautiful you are, it makes your day. It's like, wow, feels so good to hear someone say how beautiful I am. And number two, is if you reject the compliment where you're like, oh my gosh, no, not really. Or, oh, I don't know, this old thing, those types of comments. When you're not able to receive the compliment, it's another sign that you're insecure. But when you're secure, you actually don't live for that validation. And so if someone tells you you're beautiful, it's not polarizing, like really awesome or really horrible to receive. You feel pretty neutral about it. It's like, thank you. And that's all, because you don't feel weird about receiving the compliment, but you also aren't living for that validation. So when someone gives you the compliment of you're beautiful or you look great or I love your outfit, it doesn't really change you either way because you are secure in who you are. So you were never living for that compliment. You were never needing that compliment. And you already know that compliment is true because you already know you're beautiful. So there's no part of you that feels icky about receiving it. You can simply receive it and move on, and that's it. Follow me for more tips on how to build your confidence.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Oh, wow, that sounded super amazing, Queen, about total securities and knowing exactly how to receive them and how to act with them. Rhetorical question here, Queen. These compliments that you're receiving, that you just roll with them and keep going because you know they're true. What happens when you're expecting a compliment from a man that you're attracted to, but it never comes? He just doesn't compliment you. Walks right past you, doesn't even acknowledge your existence. What happens with your security then? I would venture to say that 80% of the time, women's securities and self-confidence crumbles like a windshield in a car accident. I'm sorry, but there's a reality here. Women ignore 80% of the men, all right? 80% of the men are invisible. So a compliment coming from a man that you're not even interested in, yeah, you blow it off because it didn't mean much. And you got your attention out of it, which is what you wanted. When it comes to from that top 20% of man, and he just doesn't give it, he's like, well, whatever. No, not you. No, I'm not going to say anything. That's where the hard blows come. That's where egos start to fall off. That's when the seeds of doubt start coming in, and then women start doubting themselves. It is no secret that women overthink things. I'm not saying this to slam women. I'm saying this to point out the flaws in the advice that this Queen just gave out. I'm sorry there, sister, but your words don't have a solid foundation in reality. They're based on positive experiences only. But the moment the woman gets a negative comment, especially from a guy she's attracted to, her world breaks down. It's like pulling the emergency brake on a locomotive. Everything comes to a screeching halt. Everything inside is going to start shifting. Things are falling off. Logic goes out the window. And I'm not saying that there was a lot of logic to begin with. And emotions become a total wreck. You know, you could say this gorilla's lying, but then again, there's a reason that most women don't want to go outside when they don't have at least 5 pounds of makeup plastered on. Move it on.
Men can tell almost instantly if you are desperate, if you have low self-esteem, if you have a need for validation. Now, if you meet a nice guy and he loves you, he will not take advantage of that, but you have to be very careful. I work with a lot of men through the years. For the most part, I have to say the men I work with are great, but I have met men in my lifetime. I actually dated one. They know, like they can almost tell when you have something unhealed within you that they can take advantage of. And I have to tell you the best thing, this girl's comment, she's 1,000% right. They can almost tell, like they can almost smell it. I'm telling you, a certain type of man, he'll know if you're the type of woman he can manipulate, if you're the kind of woman that, you know, will always be seeking his validation, if you're the kind of woman that is desperate or clingy. And if you hook up with the wrong guy, he will exploit that. So that's why it's so important that you heal whatever inner traumas you have. It's so important that you have a strong and healthy self-esteem, because the wrong person will totally, you know, exploit and use that against you. I went through this myself a long time ago. You know, I spoke about it a couple videos ago. I really loved a guy, and you know, looking back at it now, should I have, you know, given him as many chances I gave him? No, I shouldn't have. Should I have, you know, done as much as I did for him? No, I shouldn't have.
Wow, fam, she has actually met men in her lifetime. And actually dated one. This makes her a field expert. And the comment of men can tell when you have something unhealed in you? Yeah, men call that baggage and daddy issues. It's no big secret, Queen. I'm sorry, Queen, but even this primate can tell when you have those kind of issues. It's almost written on your face. And let me read off that girl's comment if you guys can't read it. It says, a man can smell your need for attention from 1,000 miles away. Now, that is not exactly what she's talking about being unhealed and the man takes advantage of that. No, it's a man giving you the attention that you want and you girls melt like butter. Those are two different things there, sister. But we could wrap the whole thing up in your immaturity and insecurities now, can we? And for this queen, let me just say, the way that she just went on into that word salad about, oh yeah, you know, you have to heal this and that, and oh, I was with a guy and he took advantage of me and I gave him a bunch of chances and that. Listen, let me be honest here, sister. I'm just going to come out and say what it is, and it's going to be pretty painful for you to hear. And I'm pretty sure some of my female viewers are going to probably say that this gorilla is just being a total jerk. But it really sounds like you were very clingy. I'm not just talking about the story that you're talking about. I'm also talking about how you're coming off, the way you're explaining things. You're giving super strong clingy vibes here, especially when you keep going off your infatuation of one guy. Now, you would figure in the advanced age that you have now, you would have learned from your mistakes or learned that, hey, you know what? It's time for you to move on and try not to repeat your mistakes in your next relationship. Nope, but it seems like you haven't matured on that part and you're probably repeating the same things with the guys that you meet now, except the problem is your dating pool right now should be equivalent to a shallow puddle. But let's hear what else she has to say.
But also what winds up happening is you get stuck in a circle, and let me tell you, it's almost like being on a hamster wheel, and it's very hard to get off because women, when they come from a place of hurt, what I have experienced, what I have seen, you know, the women I talk to, especially on this app, women, when they are hurt, they go into a different frame of mind. They want to help everyone. They want to do for other people. Like, they almost feel like doing and helping other people kind of helps themselves heal. Where men, not all men, some men, will go the other route, and when they have inner childhood wounds, they like almost become predators. So please understand, men and women are very different. So an unhealed woman might become like very submissive, or, you know, she kind of like will become overly, like overextend herself, where a guy will almost become like, you know, predatorial. So please, you have to do the inner work and heal yourself, especially if you're out in the dating world, because you will keep hooking up and meeting with the wrong type of guy, and you will waste your life on this hamster wheel. So try not to do it. But yep, that comment, that girl hit the nail, boop, right on the head. A man, like, again, not all men, because I work with men, and I have to tell you, I work with some of the best guys you'll ever meet. I would say for the most part, pretty much all the guys I work with are fantastic. But there are men out there that they can like practically smell this. They really can. So I hope that helped. Take care. Be well. Bye-bye.
An unhealed woman would more than likely become a very helpful kind of woman to other women because it helps them heal. Or more than likely, it's because they're trying to find an answer as to why they got dumped. And instead of taking therapy, they use other women's trauma as therapy sessions. And as she said, some men, not all men, just become predators. Let me help you out there, Colleen. What you're trying to say is that women turn good men into players, not predators. There's a huge difference there. And more often than not, this is what happens. Men go in very emotional. Women destroy their emotions, make them feel small, make them feel unwanted. And then they figure, you know what? I'm not going to get crushed again. I'm just going to act like a bad boy. And let's see where that gets me. And before you know it, that good guy who could barely pull in one girlfriend is pulling in 2 to 3 women. So he's like, okay, this is working. I'm just going to keep going this route. And I have to counter her when she says that a emotionally unhealed woman will become more submissive. Wrong. The exact opposite. They bring more baggage. I mean, if that many women are becoming submissive, the bulk of men would say that women are submissive. And they're not saying that. They're saying that there's a huge increase in masculine women. So I don't know where you are getting your numbers from there, sister, because I doubt they're accurate. But she did say something that I agree with, that these women will go out and hook up with the wrong type of guy, i.e. the Chads and Tyrones. I mean, it's women, not men, that came up with the saying, the best way to get over somebody is to get under someone else. When it comes down to it, it's all about taking accountability for your own actions. And women tend not to like that, but claim that men are the ones who don't like accountability. I just don't see it. And to close this out, before someone points it out in the comments, I'm going to say it. Notice how she said that all the men that she works with are fantastic. Ladies, you mind filling in what's missing there? I'll help you out. She didn't say all the men that she works with are the type of guys that she should be dating or other women should be dating. Nope. All she's saying is avoid the guys who are predators, i.e. the thunderslungs that you're going to give it up to anyway. And this girl is going to add the final piece to this one. You see, the reason she doesn't say you should date the guys that she works with is because the guys that she works with don't want to date her.
Fatality.
Flawless victory.
I'm just saying, if you enjoy this audit, click on the video in the end screen for more content. If you would like to support the channel, please follow the link in the description to donate to our beer fund, or like, subscribe, and share this video on other social media platforms. If you agree or disagree with anything about this audit, please let us know in the comments. I'm going to leave this audit right here. I'll see all of you in the next episode.